Yo, what is up guys, Ghost here, and today I want to take a look at the new Season 5 map, which is supposed to be based on the Battlefield 3 and 4 era, since both of those games took place around the same time. So far, the best indication we've gotten is this piece of concept art that DICE dropped at the end of their Season 4 overview video, and it certainly gives us some clues to go off of. So I thought we could head back into Battlefield 4, have a scout around some of the maps and see what conclusions we can draw there. Before we get started though, make sure you hit that sub button if you enjoyed the content. Lots of Season 4 stuff coming up next week, and I will be covering all of that here on the channel. And as always, a really big thank you to my members that help make these videos possible. So during the Season 4 video, they had this to say about the Season 5 map. It's a battleground where armies clashed decades ago, trying to secure a vital train track being used for the transportation of armaments. Now, as the region is once again engulfed in conflict, attempts are taking place to capture the route for the delivery of heavy armor to key positions. So from that sentence and the concept art itself, it seems like the main feature of this map is going to be a train track. And as many other users have posted all over the internet, there are a few maps in Battlefield 4 that feature trains. There's Giants of Karelia, Zavod, Propaganda, Golmud Railway, and even Operation Metro and Lumpini Gardens, although those last two are a bit of a stretch since they were both passenger trains and not heavy freight trains used for transporting armaments. But if we begin with Golmud Railway here, it of course features one of the largest railways in the world in China as its main feature, so whilst this area doesn't technically much look like the concept art, it could be along any stretch of this railway and not necessarily where the Battlefield 4 map occurs, which would give DICE the freedom to chop and change things as they see fit. Although I do find this unlikely, the way they're likening this map to Battlefield 4 maps means that surely they want to have some nostalgia thrown in there, they want something familiar for players to recognise from one of their favourite games in the franchise, right? So if they change it too much, it won't be very Golmud Railway at all. Moving on to Zavod 311 here, I have to agree with the majority of the community. I think this is the most likely candidate to be the inspiration for the Season 5 map. In the concept art, we see train tracks going past an old abandoned factory, perhaps not the exact buildings we have in the Zavod map, but maybe some from further down the line. Also, the old abandoned train cars themselves, they look very similar to the Zavod ones. They have these segmented lines running across the tops of them there. Again, maybe, that's just how DICE likes to make train cars or whatever, but I definitely think they've taken inspiration from these cars specifically. Now in the concept art we see a lot of snow. That doesn't really tell us anything since the climate of the world has been turned upside down from the events of 2042 and it could simply be a different time of year. However, one of the things that is not likely to have changed much is the terrain, and we can see a mountain in the background, and in front of that area is pretty densely forested. There are trees everywhere, and that certainly screams Zavod to me. Now, you'll also notice in the artwork that a large area of that forest has been actually set on fire. Again, this could be a coincidence here, but you will actually find a large area of the forest on the Zavod map that is also on fire. Finally, the backstory for Zavod 311 is that it's an abandoned Cold War era Soviet tank factory, so certainly this train track was used for the transportation of armaments, just like they said in the Season 4 video. Now there is one other map I believe to be a worthy contender, and that is Giants of Karelia. So this map too is very mountainous and it has a lot of trees. It also has the all-important train track running through it that leads into a secret military research base where prototype T1 battle walkers are being constructed, which were likely the prototype for the walkers that we saw in Battlefield 2142 of course. On top of that, you can also find the same train cars here that we saw on Zavod. So I think that Zavod is still the more likely contender, although Giants of Karelia would be my second guess. Then again, it could be, something completely and entirely different, and DICE are simply drawing very loose inspiration from these locations. Now, outside of a new map and the fact that Season 5 won't be bringing another new specialist to the game, we don't really know what else to expect. I think many of us expected for DICE to simply throw in the towel and stop development of the game after the 4 promised seasons. I know I did, so I was very happy to hear that we'll actually be getting a Season 5. But it would be nice to know a little bit more about what we can expect here going into the future. Is there a Season 6? 7? At this rate, the seasons have been coming out pretty quickly, and it's still a long way until the next Battlefield game is even announced, never mind releasing. Marcus Leto is heading up the new Ridgeline Studios team in Seattle, who are working on a single-player Battlefield experience that will likely accompany the multiplayer component that DICE are working on. They're still busy hiring people right now, in fact, so that means that they can't be fully into development just yet. And then we've got a completely different game that Ripple Effect are working on alongside that one. So best guess is that we see the next game in 2024 at the very earliest, which could mean we don't even hear about the game until the summer of 2024, and that's a long way away. So do DICE intend to support Battlefield 2042 until then? I guess only time will tell. Now, if you missed out on the patch notes video for update 4.0 coming with Season 4 on Tuesday, feel free to check out this video. That's got all the important information in there, and I will most likely see you guys on Tuesday. I think I'll be streaming here on YouTube, trying out Season 4, so I hope to see some of you then. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.